When Ethan Cole stepped out of his car that night, he thought he was coming home to another empty house. Instead, a 4-year-old girl standing in the rain asked him to fix a broken door. And in that moment, the billionaire who had everything realized he had absolutely nothing that mattered. If this story touches your heart, hit that like button, follow Real Hidden Gems so you never miss a story, and drop a comment telling us where in the world you're watching from. Do you think success means anything if you have no one to share it with? The rain had finally stopped, leaving the suburban street slick and glowing under the streetlights. Ethan Cole loosened his tie as he stepped out of the car service, exhaustion clinging to him like a second skin. Another 18-hour day, another round of meetings, negotiations, numbers, and decisions that moved millions of dollars, but somehow meant less and less with every passing week. At 42, Ethan had built an empire from nothing. Cole Dynamics was one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country. He had the penthouse, the cars, the influence. And yet, most nights he went home to silence. That's why he'd bought this modest house in a quiet neighborhood 6 months ago. A change of scenery, he told himself. Maybe something simpler would fix the emptiness success had carved into his life. It was nearly midnight when he saw her. A small figure standing on the sidewalk next door. A little girl, no more than 4, blonde curls slipping out of messy braids, a pink dress under a beige jacket, worn sneakers damp from the rain. She stood there wringing her hands, staring toward his house like she was waiting for a miracle. Ethan's exhaustion vanished instantly. "Hey, sweetheart," he said gently, walking toward her. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" Her big blue eyes locked onto him, far too worried for someone so small. "Are you the man who lives in the big house?" she asked softly. Ethan glanced behind him at his modest place and almost smiled. "Yeah," he said, "I live here, what's wrong?" She pointed next door. "Our door is broken, Mommy's scared, can you fix it?" Ethan knelt down, his expensive suit brushing against the wet pavement. "What happened?" "A bad man came," she whispered. "He was yelling about money, he pushed the door really hard and now it won't close. Mommy put a chair against it but she's crying." Tears welled in her eyes. "I got scared so I came to find you, your house has good lights." Something in Ethan's chest tightened hard. "What's your name?" Emma Rose Taylor, I'm 4." He nodded slowly. "Well, Emma Rose Taylor, I'm Ethan, and yeah," he stood, offering his hand. "We're going to fix that door." She slipped her tiny hand into his without hesitation. The trust in that simple gesture hit him harder than anything he'd felt in years. In his world, nothing came without contracts, without conditions, without risk. But this was pure. They walked to the house next door. The door hung crooked, barely held shut by a chair wedged against it from inside. Ethan knocked gently. "Ma'am, my name Ethan Cole, your daughter came to get me." A pause. Then the chair scraped. The door opened to reveal a young woman, late 20s, tired eyes, face streaked with tears. The moment she saw Emma, relief broke through her completely. "Emma, oh my God," she pulled her into her arms. "You can't leave the house like that." "I'm sorry, Mommy," Emma whispered, "but you were crying and the door is broken." The woman looked up at Ethan, embarrassed and overwhelmed. "I'm Rachel," she said quietly. "I'm so sorry you didn't have to." "Yes," Ethan said calmly, "I did." He glanced at the door frame, splintered wood, forced entry. "Let me fix this tonight," he added. "It's not safe like this." Rachel hesitated, pride and fear battling inside her. Then she nodded. "Okay, thank you." Ethan spent the next hour repairing what he could, reinforcing the frame, installing a temporary lock, making sure the door would hold. As he worked, Rachel told him what happened. Her ex-husband, Derek, showed up demanding money, got aggressive, kicked the door in. "I didn't call the police," she admitted quietly. "If there's a report, my landlord might evict us." Ethan's jaw tightened. A woman forced to choose between safety and shelter. It made something inside him burn. "Tomorrow," he said firmly, "I'll have a security system installed, new locks, cameras." Rachel shook her head immediately. "I can't afford that." "You don't have to," he said. "But I run a tech company," Ethan interrupted gently. "This is easy for me, let me do this for Emma." Rachel looked at her daughter, now asleep on the couch. Okay, she whispered. The next morning, everything changed. By noon, Rachel's house had reinforced doors, smart locks, cameras, motion lights, the works. Ethan pulled strings, made calls, didn't think twice. For the first time in years, something felt right. That evening, Emma opened the door with a huge grin. Mr. Ethan, the door is strong now. She grabbed his hand and dragged him inside to show him everything like it was the greatest thing in the world. Rachel smiled from the kitchen. Stay for dinner. He hesitated, then said yes. Dinner was simple. Spaghetti, garlic bread, laughter. Emma showed him a drawing she made. A house with glowing windows. A tall stick figure. That's you, she said proudly, you fix doors. Ethan stared at it longer than he expected. Can I keep it? She nodded. You can put it on your fridge, that's where important things go. Something in him shifted. Weeks turned into months. Ethan started coming home earlier. Started spending time next door. Fixing things, helping, laughing, living. Rachel went back to nursing school with his help. Emma started calling him Uncle Ethan. And for the first time in decades, Ethan Cole wasn't just successful. He was happy. 2 years later, Ethan stood in his backyard, watching Emma run across the grass, laughing. Rachel stood beside him, her hand in his. Not his old empty life. Not his silent house. But something real. A family. And it all started with a broken door. And a little girl who believed a stranger with good lights could save them.